And if not, oh well. Okay, recording.
Okay. So he's anyway, he's focused on stability for Firefox for Android and Firefox OS. So crash reporting and things like that are of great interest to him, especially if you can repeat a crash, Firefox for Android or Firefox OS. Naoki is the guy to tell about it. Um, so that's the QA update. I put some updates in the B2G section, but Ralph and Hermina can also add some updates after I do my little bit here. We do have questions on all the uh, language forums for Polish and Spanish and English for Firefox OS. Just a few, not a lot of questions. Um, but we have questions on all the forums, and they're all getting answered in a timely manner. So I want to thank everyone who's working on the forums and answering questions about Firefox OS. We don't have any questions that I think are too hot as far as being big issues. A lot of questions about, can I run this on my XYZ device? Is it supported on such and such a tablet? A couple of how-to questions, but also more questions about features that are coming in the future. So I would love to do a little bit of work on the numbers of questions that we have so far this week up against the number of devices we have in the streets, and then try to do some projections about how many questions we're going to have if we have 50,000 of these devices. Where will we be when we have 1,000,000 devices in the streets, right? So we can get a sense of what the scale is going to be. I mean, I think we'll get to 1.1 soon enough that it won't be a perfect predictor. I think 1.0.1 is pretty different from 1.1. But a little bit of prediction I would like to do based on where we are right now. We do not have any partner escalations from manufacturers or from carriers at this point, so that's good. Um, and I wanted to thank all the localizers and Rosanna for continuing to communicate about the help articles that are coming in, and for working hard on these last set of help articles that came in very late and which I blew it. I did not set them ready for Elton um, in time as I thought I had, so that they were a week late. So I apologize for the scurry, and I thank you, Rosanna, for for telling me about it. These are the adaptive app search articles that the awesome folks at everything.me have contributed. And so thanks for helping to localize those. I did request yesterday, even though we're just getting started with version 1.0.1 with devices in the streets, that's a good time to start looking at version 1.1 because engineering is wrapping it up, and I think 1.1 is heading off to certification um, sometime very soon. So there is a linked list of all the bugs for user stories for version 1.1, everything that's new in 1.1. You'll see it's a lot of new stuff for MMS messaging, for multimedia messaging, and with a smattering of other things. So this should be those new user stories, though, I don't think include every UI change that will affect users and things that they might have learned how to do with 1.0.1 and that have changed in 1.1, but this is a good start, and I've asked for a more complete list of feature deltas for 1.1. So we should get to scoping that and put together our list of help articles that are new and things that are changed in 1.1 that we'll need to document. Get going on that because it's not going to be too long before we get to 1.1. What are the other updates we have on Firefox OS? Ralph, do you have an update on what you've been doing this week for Firefox OS? Oh, you're mute.
Always do that. So yeah, I've been running some more tests on the ZTE Open, and I found a couple of bugs that I filed. One of them is not being able to install apps sometimes. So I'm looking into that a little more, and but I filed a bug for it, and I'll post that on the Etherpad in just a second. As far as feedback on the forums, there's no nothing. Nothing big to report. There's not much activities on the Mozilla Hispano forums, so everything it's looking like everything is going well so far.
Great. Which apps were you? I installed a bunch of apps last night on my ZTE Open, and I only found one that that failed. Which one was it? I mean,
Um, the ones that failed for me, and I just did a test a few minutes ago again, was Twitter, Wikipedia, AccuWeather, and Facebook.
what? Well,
Um,
nobody's gonna use any of those. Shit.
um, No, and this is testing. The signal inside my house is great for testing because it's really bad. So I get edge connection a lot, and very rarely I get 3G. So, but sometimes it works. Like if I restart the phone a few times and then I try it again, it'll work even with a bad connection. Sometimes a couple of times I've seen that it fails to install. So
Oh,
I'll be looking a little more into it.
wow. How do you work from home
Um,
that way? Okay, well, that's interesting. I was not doing this on my data connection. I was doing all of my installs over Wi-Fi. So I will do what you're doing and see what my results are. Others, please do the same. Hermina, you've got a device. Please
Yeah.
try to do a bunch of, and not after 4 p.m. today though, because the marketplace is having some scheduled downtime. But you'll be sleeping by then, Hermina. Maybe
Swarnova.
tomorrow.
Swarnova.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
There's someone new. Hey, Swarnova. Nice to see
Hey.
you.
Oh.
Welcome. Oh, you're frozen. Is he waving? Welcome to the mobile meetup. Um, we're just finishing up some Firefox OS status updates. And Hermina, do you have an update for us on Firefox OS this week?
Yes. So first of all, yeah, I also I focused on calls,
Oh
especially
no.
on my phone this week. So I've noticed that when the screen locks, it's very difficult to unlock it when you get a call. You know, so it's sometimes it's almost impossible to unlock it and answer the call. So I've been chatting with our engineers here, asking them what's happening, and they told me that we won't be seeing this issue in 1.1 because they worked on it and it's already solved. But unfortunately, on this version, we still have this problem with it. So unfortunately, there is not much to do. Um, this is an update for the phone. On the other hand, I had a chat with Telefonica, and I have some updates from them as well. It seems that they started receiving calls on Firefox OS and on the City Open. No complaints, only questions on how to use the phone, how to use the internet on the phone, how to get a better data plan for it, which is just great. So I got a confirmation that there's a lot of interest in relation to the phone. And as well, questions on how to install apps and what apps are available. As I was saying, plenty of questions on functionality. I wanted to give you this update as well because I thought it's quite good news.
And did they say that they had access to the information they need to answer those questions, or were they sending them to our website, or?
They said that they had no issues to answer those questions, especially that they have this spec that they use now, and they also have the simulator they are using in Spain as well. So
Oh, great.
I got confirmation that it was okay to answer the questions, and I don't know if they sent clients to our website, but it seems they didn't encounter any issue with answering.
Oh, great. Thank you. Awesome. That's really good to hear. If you would put a list of those questions that they did mention to you in the Etherpad, that would be helpful. Just to have a sense of what they're saying this first week compared to, the coming weeks. What kinds of functionality questions will come up. And
Yes,
make
they
sure
will.
that we have documentation of all of them.
Yes, will do, and for sure I'll have more news next week because it seems that they will receive a first report on the questions asked in their call center, and they will send it to us next week, Monday or Tuesday, so we can have a look and make sure that we have all info. So, but I will add to the Etherpad what I have for now.
Great, thank you. Chang and the user advocacy team will be excited to hear that. That we'll get something like that next week. Okay, so since Chang's not here, I just put a couple of things in the feedback section for Firefox OS. Some of what's coming up in the forums and also in input. We're responding to everyone who puts something in input about Firefox OS and leaves us an email address. We're responding to all those individuals, which is actually pretty fun to do. And I thank Ralph and Hermina for helping me with this. It's fun because people are like, oh, you responded, a human responded to me. Wow. So people are excited to hear from us. Some things people are asking for, of course, we know WhatsApp is or Line, some sort of substitute or app for that is sort of the top of minds. I think especially for Spain. And we had one piece of input asking for copy paste, a couple of posts for asking about email notifications, which we don't have yet, but we do have calendar notifications. Those should be working. Calendar and SMS and app and system updates all should have working notifications. Downloading images was a question that came up, and then a question about how do I get additional languages. I had one piece of feedback on version 1.1, the UX, which Tyler and I have discussed in the past, because in 1.1 they changed the USB mass storage toggle for media. Now there's 3 toggles in 1.1, and
it's really hard.
confusing. People don't understand it. This was a question from a developer who had no idea why mounting his device wasn't working anymore after 1.1, and didn't even think to go into the UI and switch all those toggles on, since there's 3.
Yeah, 3.
So this is something I think we definitely have to document for 1.1. We knew it was weird as soon as we saw this change come in. But other than that, nothing to me stands out as specific to version 1.1. We had a couple of people who updated their Geeks phones with or had updates show up on their Geeks phones for particular apps or for the marketplace itself, and then after they downloaded updates, they couldn't launch those apps. The marketplace and maps, and I think maybe Wikipedia. So So Geeks Phone's a little unique because they're rolling their own. And so it's always important to tell users for Geeks Phone to go to geeksphone.com/SAT and report issues to them directly. But also for these app updates, I'm also just telling people, go to the mobile site in the browser and then bookmark it and add it to your home screen. It'll work, should work just like the app that stopped working. Particularly for Marketplace and Nokia Maps and Wikipedia. That those should be good workarounds until the update gets resolved, which is probably on the end of Geeks Phone or the hardware manufacturers, which is the source of all updates for any of our devices. Any questions on feedback for Firefox OS or other things jumping out that I've missed here, other issues? I know we were working Wi-Fi and GPS issues separately, and I don't have any new updates on those. Hermina, did you try your GPS with the instructions I put in that bug from yesterday, today?
Mm-hmm.
Is
Yes.
it still not working for you?
I tried to, and I've seen some updates from engineering, but there seems to be a debate now on the bug because there are different opinions. So I still don't have an update on this because I'm following like the whole threads to see what happens in the end. It seems that the phone might support or know HTTPS, and someone is saying that it does, somebody else that it doesn't. So they are still trying to find a solution for this, but I do not have an update yet.
Oh, okay. So try that on your phone, pushing that route button and see if that works for you.
I've tried it. I've tried what you've sent
Oh, it
us.
still
I
doesn't
just
work
clicked
for
the
you?
button.
No.
It doesn't work. Actually, I will wait because I've waited for 1 minute, but maybe I have to wait more than 1 minute. Problem is that I don't even think it matters if it works after 1 or 2 minutes, because I truly believe that the customer won't have the patience to wait for 2 minutes, to
Yes.
find GPS signal on his phone. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at least you get the message that it's trying to find your location, that it's doing something. There is the feedback there, but I don't think people know that they have to go in and push that button. I think the expectation is the button on the top of the map in the bottom left should work. But I've found the only way to make that light up is to hit the route, is to go into the menu and tap on the route. So Ralph, do you have, can you get the maps? If you could test this also in your Nokia maps to see if you can get GPS to geolocate you in the map, that would be helpful. And maybe we should link this bug. I'll link the bug in that we're talking about here. The other thing was Wi-Fi, and this was an issue where if you get on Wi-Fi in the first run experience, you configure your Wi-Fi network, and then you just sort of put the phone down and go to some meetings, and then come back without having downloaded your first set of updates, then sometimes it won't get on Wi-Fi again. That was what I thought I was seeing, and so I handed one phone off to Naoki to do some further testing and to compare it to the other phone I had that didn't have that problem. And he couldn't find any differences, but I'll ask him for an update on that in our next week's meeting, just to see if we need to add a little bit of content to the Wi-Fi articles that we have.
Just a real quick update. You asked me to check the GPS location on the Hue maps, and it found the location.
It does find you.
Mm-hmm. on this device.
It's just you, Hermina. No.
Well, it's weird because like on the bug there was they were saying that it's impossible to find you indoors actually. So it's quite it's not clear yet.
No, because Ralph, you're obviously indoors. I could do it
Mhm.
indoors.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Maybe it's, I mean, it must be something, um, something otherwise. It's not at least it's not just a user issue that you're seeing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Thanks, Ralph.
We have 3 minutes.
Okay, 3 minutes. Go, Roland. Firefox for Android. Give
It's
your
on
update.
the Etherpad, but briefly we have a sumo day tomorrow. And I have one more thing that we could do quickly, help document search engine default. And thanks to Swarnell for writing a first draft of subscribing RSS feeds in Alizam. Don't know why you wrote it in Alizam. You can just put it on Sumo next time, but no problem. I'm in the process of revising and putting it on Sumo for Firefox 23 for Android. And that's it. Thank you. And it was nice to
Awesome.
see your face, Swarnell.
Yeah, it was. Thanks, Roland, for driving. The things in the anything else section, feedback on the Air Mozilla broadcast from last week from this meeting. Did you guys watch it? No.
No, I was there live.
Okay, I watched it again and I thought I had said something private, but I didn't. So, Roland,
Oh,
if you still have that video from last week, you can post it. If not, no worries, but I think it
okay.
can be made public.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I thought it was a really good introduction to this team. And so I did send a message to all with a link to it so people know who you guys are and what you're involved in. And at least Rick Fant did watch it, the whole thing, and send a question to Hermina afterwards, which is very cool. Rick is the head of project management at Mozilla, really. He's driving a huge amount of what is happening with Firefox OS and Marketplace. So it's excellent. If no one else watches it, it's great that Rick watched it and knows
Yep.
how we do support. Um, thanks for responding to him so quickly, Hermine. I appreciate it. He was asking about the GPS problem, so it's not just you. It is other places too. So at any rate, another good outcome of you having been able to go to Spain for us. So we are at 11 o'clock. There, I will add the updated statistics on the page views on our Air Mozilla stream. I think like 140 people have watched it already, which is really super awesome. So thanks again, David Satdev, for doing that for us. I think we should do it once a month. Have a little gathering on Air Mozilla so people know what we're up to and can join us. Rosanna, L10N meeting, you want to give a little update on this?
Yeah, I was just looking for the link because I couldn't find it very quickly. We are organizing. There's a doodle because I want to organize a localizers meeting. We're gonna do it over IRC because usually it's easier when you have a problems of joining with video. And one of the points in the list is something that I talked about with Michelle, and it's a postmortem of the Firefox OS articles. So if you want to join, if you're interested, if you wrote articles for Firefox OS and you want to see what localizers thought about the process, what their feedback is, and how we can, think about this moving forward, please join us. Any feedback is very welcome. And yeah, the idea is to see how we create on the one side the articles, and then we get the feedback from the localizers.
Yes, thank you so much for setting this up. I really am excited to hear from all of them on how it went, things we can do better in version 1.1 or things we need to fix for them to make it workable. And thanks again for all of your help with this. And then talking to contributors in Colombia for the beta testing program.
So yeah, I wrote that down. So I think most of you may know Matt started initiating and talking to engagement about doing a beta test program in Colombia. and they're working a lot of the details on the side of the research project already and the study.
Really?
And I'm talking to contributors in Colombia so that they can help out with the with this study. So they said that they'll be willing to help, and it should start next month.
Kind of
I'm just talking to them about the details now.
Awesome. Yeah, I think Hermina's going to try to join that also, a different week than you're there, unfortunately, but I think it's going to be extremely helpful. I can't wait to hear what people say in Colombia about Firefox OS and the kind of, I think Mary Trombley is leading this. She's excellent. I've watched her usability studies on Firefox for Android, and she's a master of this. So I think it's going to be well worth it. You're going to learn so much, have huge insights just by watching people and the way she is able to talk to them through problems that they find with software and reveal all the kinds of things that we should document and be aware of with Firefox OS. So great. Great stuff. Sorry to be a few minutes late. Thank you, Roland, for
Okay.
recording.
Stop the
Have a
recording.
great day, everyone. We'll see you next week, same time, same place.